Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another quick video. On this video, I want to talk to you guys about 3 things that I disagree with Dave Ramsey about. Now, for the most part, I like Dave Ramsey. I think he's done a phenomenal job and he's helped millions and millions of people get out of debt and stay out of debt and win with their money. But there's really only 3 things that I have to disagree with Dave Ramsey about. And on this video, I want to share those things with you guys. Now, if you're stopping by this channel for the very first time, do me a favor, please consider subscribing to the channel and smash the like button. Now, if you get anything at all out of the video, please do me a favor, drop a comment below and let me know what your takeaway is. What do you like or dislike about Dave Ramsey? Now, full disclaimer, I've actually followed a lot of Dave Ramsey's advice. I haven't followed every single thing to a T. I think a lot of what he has to say is great. It makes perfect sense to me, and I appreciate the straight talk about money. But let's jump into the 3 things that I disagree with, and then you can tell me below in the comment section what you think about it. As you guys know, Dave Ramsey has 7 baby steps. Number 1, save $1,000 emergency fund just for an initial emergency fund. Number 2, get out of debt as soon as possible. With gazelle intensity is what he likes to say. Number 3 is go ahead and fully fund your emergency fund up to 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. Baby step number 4 is to invest 15% of your money in mutual funds towards your retirement. Baby step number 5 is to create and fully fund a college fund for your children. Baby step number 6 is to pay off your home. Baby step number 7 is to continue to build wealth and be as generous as possible. Now, here's the first issue I have with Dave Ramsey. Baby step number 1. His baby step number 1 says, take $1,000, put it in an initial emergency fund in case something goes wrong. It's now 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, right? $1,000 of emergency fund is not enough money nowadays. It was enough money 20 years ago. It was probably enough money 10 to 15 years ago. Today, with inflation at all-time highs and the cost of living increased incredibly, $1,000 is just not enough, Dave. Now, I believe that you need at least $2,000 saved up in an initial emergency fund to cover real-life emergencies that happen right now, today, and beyond. You need at least a couple of $1,000s. The cost of bread, the cost of gas, the cost of washing machines, the cost of stoves, the cost of heating and air conditioning units, the cost of tires on your car, the cost of everything has skyrocketed. $1,000 is not enough. Now, the second thing that I disagree with Dave Ramsey about is his baby step number 4. I agree you should put 15% of your money towards savings to invest for your future, but I don't believe you should be investing that money into mutual funds. I don't like mutual funds as much as I like index funds. Dave Ramsey really doesn't talk a lot about index funds, and I think index funds are a better place to be saving your 15% towards your retirement. And the reason why is because index funds carry lower fees than mutual funds. Mutual funds are what's known as actively managed funds, which means there's a person that's picking and choosing the 100 or 200 stocks that are going into a mutual fund. And what that means is that person has to get paid. That person has to eat, feed their family, etc. So with a mutual fund, you're paying an additional fee to actually have that fund managed on an active basis by somebody or some group of people. The difference is that index funds have much less lower fees because index funds are tracking a certain sector or a certain group of funds, and index funds are considered passively managed, where you don't have that 1 or 2 managers that's actually picking those funds. Those funds are not picked by anybody because when you buy an index fund, you've actually essentially already chosen the funds that are going into that index of funds. So the fees and the basis points are much lower on index funds typically than they are on mutual funds. Of course, you have some more expensive index funds and you have some less expensive mutual funds. But overall, generally speaking, index funds are less expensive than mutual funds. Now, that doesn't matter over a year or two, but if you stretch that out over 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, the difference in fees that you pay for a mutual fund that you don't have to pay for an index fund becomes significant. And so for that reason, I differ with Dave Ramsey. Instead of putting 15% of your money towards a bunch of mutual funds, I'd rather see people put that 15% towards an investment in index funds. Now, the third thing that I disagree with Dave Ramsey about is this. Dave Ramsey says that you should stop all of your investments while you're getting out of debt. Now, listen, for some people, getting out of debt can take 6 months. For other people, getting out of debt can take 6 years. Do not stop investing for 6 years. Do not stop investing for 6 months. While I respect Dave Ramsey's opinion on this, I don't agree with it. I think you don't want to stop doing investments while you're getting out of debt. I don't believe you should stop paying yourself first while you get out of debt. The reason is that time is money, money is time. You want the additional time. You want that 6 months. You want that 6 years. You want that 2 years that is taking you to get out of debt. You don't want to jump out of the market during that time. You don't want to leave the idea of compound interest. You don't want to leave the idea of that time while you're getting out of debt, because for some people, they stop investments to get out of debt. And guess what? 3 or 4 years later, they're still not out of debt. Of course, what Dave Ramsey preaches is that if you are working intensely to get out of debt, it's not going to take you 6 years. It may only take you a year or two. But again, that's a year or two that you don't want to be out of investing. You don't want to lose the compound interest. You don't want to lose the time, because the time in the market is very, very important. So I disagree with Dave on that. Continue to pay yourself, even if it's a small amount. Continue to pay yourself while you're getting out of debt. I think you can be intense and intentional about doing both at the same time. Again, guys, I like Dave Ramsey. I think Dave Ramsey has done a lot of good for a lot of people, and I appreciate all of his work. I only disagree really on these 3 strong points. Drop me a comment below. I want to know what you guys think about Dave Ramsey's 7 baby steps and about the 3 issues that I have with his baby steps. If you got anything out of this video, smash the like button and become a subscriber. The best person to take care of the old you is the young you. Take care of yourself and take care of other people. Until the next video, peace.